On the night he reached enlightenment, the Buddha didn't feel triumph or power. He felt something far simpler, a deep, quiet gratitude for being alive. Every day feels kinda the same, doesn't it? You wake up, wash your face, eat breakfast, go to work, come home, sleep, and then morning again. Somewhere in the middle of all that routine, a thought drifts through. I wish something good would happen. Nothing terrible is going on. There's no crisis, no disaster, and yet something feels missing. A quiet sense of not quite enough, of watching everyone else's life move forward while yours just loops. When that feeling comes, most of us do the same thing without even realizing it. We start counting what we don't have. Not enough money, not enough time, not seen, not loved the way we want to be. We get better and better at counting what's missing. But today, I'd like to pause for just a moment and think about what's already there, the things we keep walking past without noticing. 2,500 years ago, one man had a realization at the edge of a single dawn. It came after tremendous suffering, and the feeling that arrived, the one he hadn't expected, might be the very thing we've been overlooking too. Let me tell you about the night everything changed for him. The place was a stretch of land in northern India, beneath a large spreading tree, one that would later be called the Bodhi tree, the tree of awakening. A young man sat down and grew very still. He had been born into wealth, a royal family, a beautiful wife, a young son, a life that looked from the outside like everything anyone could want, and yet he left it all behind, not out of bitterness, but out of a question he couldn't stop asking. Why do people suffer? The years that followed were hard in ways that are difficult to imagine. He joined groups of wandering monks who practiced extreme asceticism, starving the body in hopes of freeing the spirit. For months, he barely ate. A few grains of rice, a single bean. His body grew thin, his ribs visible beneath his skin. Still, no answer came. Then one day, exhausted and near collapse by a riverbank, a village girl approached him and offered him a bowl of rice porridge. He accepted it, lifted it slowly to his lips. It was warm. It was sweet. He could feel it moving through his body, quietly, steadily, like something returning to life. In that simple moment, something became clear to him. Tormenting the body was not the path. Stillness, real, open-hearted stillness was. He walked to a tree, sat down beneath it, and made a quiet vow to himself. I will not move from this place until I understand. The night deepened around him. Shadows and fears pressed in. Voices, perhaps his own doubts, whispered that it was useless, that he wasn't capable, that he should give up. He didn't move, and then as the sky began to lighten in the east, that soft gray moment just before dawn, something shifted inside him. Not a thunderclap, not a vision, something quieter than that. A fullness, a warmth, a sense that everything, the tree, the earth, the fading stars, even the suffering he had carried for so long, was somehow connected, somehow held. And the feeling that rose in him, they say, was this: how extraordinary it is to be alive. Not relief, not triumph, gratitude. After all that pain, after all that searching, what waited at the other side was a profound, simple thankfulness for the fact of existing at all. So what can we take from this for our own lives? The first thing that strikes me is the power of noticing. When that young woman offered him the bowl of warm porridge, she hadn't done anything grand. She'd simply brought food to someone who needed it. But he received it, really received it. He felt the warmth. He tasted the sweetness. He let it matter. For years, kindness had existed around him. The warmth of other people, the nourishment of food, the simple fact of the earth holding him up. But when his mind was locked inside suffering, he couldn't feel any of it. In Buddhist teaching, this quality of attention, of truly being present to what's happening right now, is called mindfulness. But strip away the formal language, and it's really very simple. It means noticing what's actually here. We get used to things so quickly, waking up in the morning, having something to eat, someone greeting us, a warm blanket, a window with light coming through it. None of these things are guaranteed. None of them are truly ordinary. But the more they repeat, the more invisible they become. The Buddha's awakening, I think, was in part this: the recognition that this life is not something we earned, it's something we were given. And there's a second thing worth sitting with. Gratitude doesn't just arrive on its own, It has to be looked for. It's not like rain, you can't just wait for it to fall. It's more like looking for something you've misplaced in a familiar room. You have to actually look. He only found it when he stopped pushing, stopped striving, and sat down in stillness. When he chose to be present rather than to keep searching elsewhere. When we're always moving, always chasing the next thing, fixing the next problem, we miss the flowers at our feet. We have to stop, even briefly, to see what's been there all along. This is something anyone can do. The Buddha taught that every human being already has the capacity to notice, to wake up to their own life. That capacity is in you, right now, whether you feel it or not. So how do we actually bring this into everyday life? What I'd like to offer you is something very small, almost embarrassingly simple. It's called a gratitude journal. Here's all it involves. At the end of the day, you open a notebook, any notebook, and you write down 3 things that were good today. That's it. That's too simple, you might be thinking. How could that possibly change anything? But here's what happens when you do it consistently. You start training your attention. You're building slowly, quietly, the same kind of noticing that took that young man years of searching to find. There's actually a great deal of research supporting this. Studies in psychology have found that people who regularly write down what they're grateful for report higher levels of well-being, lower anxiety, and better sleep. But from a Buddhist perspective, what's really happening is something deeper. You're strengthening your ability to see what's already here. And the entries don't need to be profound. They shouldn't be. They might look like this. The cashier at the shop smiled at me today. The sky turned pink just before sunset. My tea was exactly the right temperature. You might feel a little silly at first, writing things so small. But that's precisely the point. Learning to notice small things is the whole practice. After a few weeks, something interesting tends to happen. During the day, in the middle of an ordinary moment, you'll catch yourself thinking, I'll write this one down tonight. Your attention starts looking for the good things before you even get to your notebook. The awareness comes first, the words come after. I wonder if that's what happened beneath that tree, all those years ago. Not some sudden magical event, but a long, slow practice of learning to see, so that when the dawn light finally came, it could reach him. One gentle note, there will be days when nothing seems good. Days when you sit with your notebook and your mind is blank, or heavy, or both. On those days, don't force 3 things. Write 1. Or write simply, I made it through today. That is enough. That is, in fact, quite a lot. The goal isn't perfection. It's not quitting. Even once a week, even imperfectly, the small accumulation of noticing, over time, quietly reshapes the way you see your world. Just one thing to carry with you today. When dawn broke over that tree long ago, what he felt wasn't victory. It was something quieter. A sense of, oh, it was here. It was always here. Not a new world. The same one. Just finally, truly seen. Your world is the same right now. Someone's face. Light through a window. A warm drink held in both hands. The fact that you woke up this morning. The fact that breath is still moving through you. Inside what looks ordinary, so much is quietly extraordinary. Tonight, before you sleep, just one line. It doesn't have to be beautiful. It doesn't have to be important. Just one moment from today that felt, even slightly, like enough. That one line might surprise you tomorrow. And over time, those lines, small, honest, imperfect, might slowly change the way you move through your days. Thank you so much for spending this time here with me. The fact that you found your way to this story today, I don't think that's nothing. I hope your evening is gentle.